For Lamborghini, the Revuelto is a huge deal. This is the first super sports car they're making that's actually electrified with a plug-in hybrid system with 3 motors in the car, 2 in the front, 1 in the back, and a V12 naturally aspirated engine. So the question is, are they doing this because it's a green thing to do? It's about sort of driving around on electric power. Yes, you can do those things, but it's really about performance and where the company is headed next. So we're gonna put the car through its paces. I'm gonna talk to some engineers here and some designers about this car as to why the Revuelto is so important for the brand and for the future of its electrification strategy. Matteo, this is a huge launch, obviously, for Lamborghini and for its sort of green ambitions. Talk to me why it was so important to hybridize the Revuelto.
It was important for several reasons. First of all, our strategy core Tauri that is foreseeing the hybridization of the full range within 25 and then with other steps in the second part of the decade. But speaking about the products, mainly for 2 reasons. We wanted a plug-in car when the technology was ready to give more to our customer, to have a fastest car, a most efficient car, and then for sure a greener car as a consequence.
So, you know, I had some time driving the car today. I just want to briefly talk about that, how we're talking about nearly or over 1,000 horsepower, I think, when you combine the 3 electric motors in this car, 2 up front, 1 in the back attached to the transmission, I believe that's correct.
Yep.
V12 naturally aspirated engine. So tremendous amount of power, but because of the fact that you have these electric motors, that helps it with handling, doesn't it?
It is. So we are very happy because you are testing for the first time this car, and we are receiving feedback now also from you and from your colleagues, and we are hearing what we wanted, that the car, it seems very easy, even if it's powerful and it's with a lot of speed and performance, the car feels lighter, the car feels smaller than it really is. But this is exactly what we wanted, because there are a lot of things that are working together into the car, and are working together meaning that we integrated all the functions. So as you said, 2 electric engines in the front that are giving us the freedom to have torque vectoring with the electric engines here. Then we have rear wheel steering in the back. Then we have a lot of components by aerodynamic point of view that are bringing the car to be very, very effective in cornering, especially in small cornering, and is giving you the feeling that you had when you drove the car.
I'm gonna hop in the car right now and do a bit of driving and talk about that, and we'll come back with more. What's so special about this car is that it has this hybrid, plug-in hybrid system. And as I briefly said before, this is a V12 naturally aspirated car, but it's got 3 electric motors, 2 in the front, 1 in the back, 1 in the back attached to the transmission. So essentially what we got here is all-wheel drive, but electrically assisted. I was hammering it earlier in the track. It is really fast. We're talking about 1,000 horsepower, and that is just ludicrous speed for, you know, a vehicle that's basically the whole monocoque of this car is carbon fiber. So it's lightweight in that regard. Now there is a battery that's powering the electric motors, and that sits right here in the middle of the car, and that actually gives us some stability. Drive around the car dynamically at high speed. Because of the fact that it has these 2 electric motors in the front, it can actually torque vector the front of the car, in the sense that it can send the precise amount of power to each wheel in the front to give you the right amount of handling. Let's say you kind of go into a corner too fast, and you kind of gotta whip it around, hit the apex in the next corner. It allows you to do that by it'll actually correct you and spin that outside tire to get you to rotate correctly. This car also has rear wheel drive steering, which is incredible, and that makes this car, which is, you know, a super sports car size, it gives it the ability to handle like it's the size of an Aventador, which is Huracan, which is a much smaller Lamborghini. It gives you that sort of feeling like you have a smaller car than you really do. I mean, look, this car is $600,000, okay? This is not a toy, or it is a toy, but it's not really the kind of thing that someone who isn't serious about owning this thing is gonna buy, right? So what you're talking about is and from Lamborghini's point of view, this is the highest that they've gone in terms of bringing technology, bringing electrification to the high performance sports car area. Here we go. You know, not hammering it here too hard, but gives you an idea of the sense of occasion here. And for Lamborghini, they're saying this car. Yes, it can address some concerns that people might have, you know, about being environmentally friendly, wary of your carbon footprint, I guess. But for the most part, this car is mainly about performance. How can we electrify this car and make it faster, make it better, make it handle better? Oh, and by the way, emit about 30% less CO2 than the outgoing Aventador, right? So you do get that benefit. I had a chance to experience that hybrid powertrain setup. You know, when I first came here, I thought to myself, the battery motor combination with the V12 engine, it's all about performance. It's really about performance. But this car can actually drive on its own in full electric power for a few miles. Is that really a thing that people need, that customers, Lamborghini customers need? They need the car to have its own, you know, electric power for certain applications?
I would say yes. It's a plus for them. So we needed the battery in order to have the PHEV. So and we dimensioned the battery in order to have always electric power. The car is never in the condition just to have the thermal power and the weight of the electric system. So this was the origin of the battery. Having this battery in, for sure we gave also the possibility to our customer to drive full electric for some miles. As you said, you want to go out of the city center, not being noisy. You want to go out from your garage, not waking up your neighbor, maybe switching on the V12. And this now you can do it. So it's not something that is taking out other contents of the car, but it's an additional possibility for the customer.
Yeah, you know, you talk about a battery placement in the center of the car. So it actually aids with not just the ability to drive around on electric power, but also aids possibly with handling with that low center of gravity with the battery there. So in the U.S. we don't have that, but in Europe, certain city centers, you must have zero emissions if you're going to drive in that car in that area. So this car fulfills that. So lastly, we heard about how the order bank for this car is through the next 2 or 3 years.
Right.
What does that tell you about what people want, what the Lamborghini client wants from the company and going forward?
What for us it was very important was to keep the V12 natural aspirated. This is something that our customers are asking. We know it since the Aventador experience, and the other collection you mentioned is giving us the feeling that we did right, because the V12 is something iconic that they want. And this is also helping the car, because however, this is the best possible engine. The revving speed, the sound of the engine, this is the choice we wanted. So for sure this is one component, then design. So this is a clear Lamborghini. You can just see the shape of the car and you immediately understand that it's one of our cars. And I think with this car we confirm what our customers are looking for also on the design point of view.
So with D'Orazio and Cottari happening, this is the first electrified Lamborghini super sports car, and then the rest of the lineup will soon go hybrid, and then eventually electric fully. We'll see. Right. Matteo, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.